Hello everyone, Oh My Giona here, and I'm gonna do my review for Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha episodes 7 and 8. So if I'm going to give a name to episodes 7 and 8, I would call them Infiltration by Songhyun. In episode 7, we see Songhyun and Hyejin realize that, he's here, and then Dushik found out that they knew each other. And so for me, episode 7 was finding out about Songhyun and him infiltrating my heart. Like, if you have been watching my reviews for Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, you would know that I really love Dushik and in association Kim Son-ho. And I'm just totally crazy for this guy. I have him as my wallpaper for my phone, and I just love him, okay? And then, all of a sudden, Songhyun came in the picture. And I'm so torn. I don't know who to choose. It's so bad. But yeah, we find out what kind of person Songhyun is. He's this really kind guy who's helped Hyejin through her college days. When she was basically having a really hard time. And then we see him in Dushik's eyes when they met, and he's just a really cool person. He has this really nice mentality. He gets lost a lot, but he says that's okay, because then if I didn't get lost, I wouldn't have discovered this wonderful place. He's very positive. And then we see him in the eyes of his coworkers with Wang Chaka, the writer for the show. And even she says that he respects Songhyun, even though he's like this. He changes his mind a lot. He does all these things that Dushik doesn't understand why he's doing them. But writer Wang was like, no, I really respect this guy. This is why I'm working with him, even though I didn't have to. She's a freelancer. We also see how he acts when he was in Dushik's house. They were drinking, and he asked Dushik to be the guide for the show. And he says something really important here. He says, I want to have a fair fight to Dushik. And so they do these games, the games that they play in 1 Night, 2 Days, or 2 Days and 1 Night, a variety show that Kim Son-ho is doing right now. But in the show, they do these games. They call them bokbulbok, which is it's just kind of like a luck game. If you're lucky, you win kind of thing. And so, with the Sandlands, drink and a coffee, you have to guess which one's the coffee, and if you drink the coffee, then you win. But if you drink the Sandlands and you finish it, that's still considered a win. Kim Son-ho is super lucky with this one. I've watched an episode and poor Din Din, he works so hard. He drank 3 cups of the Sandlands extract, and then you have Kim Son-ho who goes last and drinks 5 cups of coffee, picks 5 cups of coffee, one after the other, and didn't even have to drink the nasty extract. He's just so lucky. But yeah, it was nice to see those games, because it's kind of a callback or a shout out to Kim Son-ho doing 1 Night, 2 Days. And I guess Songhyun was kind of inspired by Napidi, who started 1 Night, 2 Days. He's the variety director, who started 1 Night, 2 Days. But he's moved on and is doing different shows now. What Songhyun is doing, it's 3 meals a day, and Napidi does that. We also see more of Songhyun as he tries to obtain a house, because he wanted to film the show in Gamle Halmoni's house, but she was really adamant that she didn't want people going into her house. And he accepted that at first. He was like, okay, I understand. That's fine. I totally get it. But then he comes back, brings her food, and like they're obviously like bribes. Like even Harmony thinks he's bribing her, right? And so she's like, no, like you don't have to do this. Even if you do, I'm not gonna let you use my house. But he keeps coming back, right? And how considerate he is of other people's feelings, because if it was somebody else, they would just like look for a different house, you know, or even like blatantly ask Gamli Harmony to let them in the house. But he didn't do that. He was trying to like soften her up, you know, like trying to know her more, spending more time with her, building an actual relationship with her so that she might want to agree to them filming in her house. And she eventually did. It's so beautiful, especially that scene when Songhyun was washing the dishes for her. And he mentions how, oh, you probably haven't used this many spoons for a long time. And it's true. I feel like Gamli Harmony was getting really lonely being by herself in that big house. I mean, she does have her friends, and Dushik would come by every now and then. But there's this kind of loneliness, you know, like, it's hard to explain, but for her, I think she really misses her family. We know her son's not very, he doesn't really call her often, and whenever he does, he's just, you know, not very loving. And there was one time when Gamli Harmony was also calling her granddaughter who's studying in the US, and she's nice enough to like keep the conversation with her, but she won't be able to go back to Korea for the summer break because she's going to California with her friends. And like, I get it, you know, but then grandma's feeling really sad, and I guess you just don't realize it when you're young. You appreciate people more as you get older, and you feel the same loneliness that they're feeling. And I think Songhyun felt that, and he was trying to fill in for Gamli Harmony's family, who she misses. And he was there, you know, every day, and just being kind to her, spending time with her. It's just so beautiful. And it just makes me so sad, because Songhyun is this guy who'd be in the sidelines, working hard, trying to get his feelings across without forcing himself to people, you know? And I feel like he's like that with Hyejin as well. Like, he's not gonna force himself on her. As in, you know, if Hyejin likes somebody else, then he's probably not even gonna confess, kind of thing. And it just makes me so sad. I've really fallen for Songhyun, especially in episode 7. And it makes me so sad that he's second lead and probably never gonna get the girl. Why? Why K-drama? Why? Always giving me second lead syndrome. As for Hyejin, she was really excited to meet Songhyun again. And she's just ecstatic, you know, talking about the past, like what happened before. She was just generally happy. I don't know, because, like, you know, she's excited to see him, but I don't think it's the same as in she's not happy to see him because she likes him, kind of thing. Not like what Songhyun is feeling. Because, like, at this point, I think she's really into Dushik, and there's no changing that anymore. No matter what Songhyun does, I don't think she's gonna budge. Anyway, it's really nice to see a little bit more insight about Hyejin and how she was in the past. Like before, we saw her wearing like simple clothes, and that was the reason why her ex-boyfriend, well, I don't know, dumped her, or she probably dumped him, but he was talking bad about her because of her fashion and like how she only has a few pairs of clothes even though she's beautiful. And then Song Hyun talks about how she was like in university and how she's always stressed out. She doesn't even eat proper food. And like she's just a very different from what we know her as right now. And I'm actually kind of glad to see her this way because we know she's gained that confidence even though she experienced a bad breakup with this jerk boyfriend. Instead of feeling bad and staying in that moment, she was able to get herself together and move on from it. You know, she has changed so much from what she was like back then. And I'm happy that she's doing well, you know. And then we have Dushik, who for the first time, we see him break a little bit because he's always been like this perfect guy, you know. He does everything well. He's close to everyone. He doesn't seem flustered by anything. He's just always so cool, you know. And then now we see him getting really jealous, like obviously jealous of Song Hyun. Like, he inserts himself every time Song Hyun and Hyejin would be like together alone. He would like follow them and be like, "Hey, want to grab a drink?" Or like he just always wants to be there. Like he doesn't want them to be alone by themselves, and it's hilarious. But like who are you? He's really breaking down. Like he has this image that I don't think he's trying to like uphold it, but he's built this image of himself that everyone knows him to be. But he has this really petty side of him. Like, oh my gosh, he was so childish. It's insane. But we kind of like, for me, I see it as him not wanting to lose what he has right now. That kind of sounds silly because he doesn't really own them. Like, he doesn't own Hyejin or anything. But maybe to him, he considers her one of his people, you know? Like how everyone in Kongjin are his people. But now with Song Hyun there, and it seems like he's trying to like grab them and take them to his side, I can see why Dushik would be kind of anxious about that. We see that a little bit more in episode 8, but he seems really ticked off by Songhyun being there. Like the way I see it, I think that Dushik is seeing Gongjin as this kind of like a box that he locked himself in. Like he stayed there, you know, when he can do bigger things than what he's already doing in Gongjin. But he locked himself in there. And you know how everything in that place is kind of like the same every day? Like nothing really changes. It's the same people, same happening. Maybe he feels grounded by being there because there's not much change going on. And maybe he doesn't do well with change. It's really beautiful to see the story of the house in episode 7 because it kind of like, it parallels to Dushik's story as well, with the house being Gongjin and Gamli Halmoni being Dushik, and like how she doesn't want other people entering her house. Just like how Dushik doesn't seem to want Songhyun there, infiltrating the village, like his people. And he really feels threatened by that. Hence, he's acting really childish, in my opinion. But maybe that is his way of trying to hold them, you know, like not to let them go. And there was also this scene with him. I didn't like how he did it. Kind of forced Yejin to wash the blankets with him. Like, Hyejin might not even want to. Like, he didn't even ask, you know. He just put her in a spot. Like, oh, yeah, Hyejin says she's doing it. And so Hyejin didn't have any choice but to do it. It ended up with, like, lovely scenes of them together, you know, washing the blankets and having some skinship. But, yeah, like, he's been teasing her and all that. And maybe that is his way of holding on to her, like saying, don't go. And we do see it in the epilogue with him being drunk and he was outside and Hyejin comes out. She was about to go home but sees Dushik outside, and so she helps him go back in. But maybe because he was drunk or he was maybe half asleep, I'm not quite sure about that. But he was crying and he says, like, Kajima, like, don't go, please don't go, don't leave me. And that's just sad, because it seems like someone in his life, I'm thinking like a girl, you know, maybe he got married or something in that 5 years that he was gone, but that person left him too. And he has this like abandonment issues and he feels like everyone's just gonna leave him. And so him saying that to Hyejin is kind of like him opening up, even though he's drunk. But Hyejin also says, like, I'm not going. And she even says, like, oh, I really have to go home, but then, like, lays down again. Yeah, like, I mean, at this point, I really think, I mean, we've kind of assumed that they are going to be endgame. They are the main leads. So they're going to be endgame. But even here, and even though I love Songhyun so much, maybe a little bit more than Dushik at this point, it's really obvious that the two like each other. And it's just going to happen. They're going to end up together. Oh, and we also find out the third mystery of Gongjin. And I was wrong. It wasn't one of my theories. But somebody won about $1.4 million in the lottery. And nobody knows who it is. Ah, that was so crazy. And due to the weather on that week when somebody won the lottery, there's no way somebody from the outside won it. It was one of them. But nobody really became like super rich after that. So they really don't know. Like, it's a real mystery. It reminded me of In the Heights, which you should watch, by the way. I think it's available to watch online. You would have to pay for it. I don't think it's still playing in the theaters, but you should be able to like buy it online and watch it. But yeah, there, like, somebody also won the lottery for $96,000, but they didn't know who it was. So everyone's like, wow, who won it? You know, like, they had this number where they sing about what they would do with 96K if they win. But there's gonna be spoilers. But should I say it? Maybe I shouldn't. Anyway, I think it's either Gamli Halmoni or Dushik. Like, when I was watching episode 7, I actually thought that Gamli Halmoni had the money in the house. That's why she wasn't letting them go in there and film, because they might find the money. But it seems like it's not that. But she seems really rich. Like, she paid for her implants in cash with no discount. She just paid for it, like, straight. So she does have money. Maybe it was her, or it could be Dushik, considering how he doesn't really take more than the minimum wage for everything that he does, and still have a really nice house and do all the hobby that he has, like buy equipments for the ship that he was fixing, or like buying his cameras and all that. Like, he has money. So maybe it is him. I can't think of anybody else who won that. Maybe Hwajong, but I think Hwajong, she already has money from the get-go. Considering how they run like a guest house even when she was younger. And then we have episode 8, which I'm calling Village Infiltration by Songhyun. So here he starts to blend in with the village, and he was helping the lady, Bora's mom from the supermarket. He would help fix like lamps and fix Gumcheol's equipment that Dushik always fixes for him. He's doing all the things that Dushik used to do for the people. And it's just really funny because they really like Songhyun now. And considering how he's like a really big shot director for variety shows, like he's a famous guy and he's this nice. Like, he's just perfect. I love Songhyun. But Dushik is really threatened by this. You can see it in his eyes. Like that's my job, man. Like, what are you doing here? And then he even, oh no, it's like at the end of the episode, but he even asked Dushik, like, is Hyejin meeting anyone right now? Like, implying that he wants to ask her out. And Dushik is kind of like, maybe you shouldn't cross this line. Then we have 2 ongoing things in this episode where like underwear and clothes of women are being stolen. And so there's like this pervert on the loose, and we don't know who it is. And then there was like a voice phishing scam that Namsuk becomes a victim of. And through that, we find out Namsuk's backstory. It's the lady who gossips a lot. And we find out that she's being really thrifty because her daughter passed away due to an illness. And what helped her overcome that was donating money under her name every year. That's why she's saving up so much money. And oh my goodness, like that was so sad. Because, you know, like she always gossips about everyone and nobody really cares. Like they kind of just like let her do it. Hwajong would sometimes like tell her like, you should stop and things like that. But they don't really ostracize her for being like that. Like they're kind of just letting her do it. And Hyejin, who didn't know anything, was really getting annoyed. Like if I were her, I would be annoyed too. But then after she helped her with the money that was stolen from her, Hwajong talks to her about Namsuk, and that's how we found out her story. And it's sad and it's sweet how she got really depressed after her daughter passed away. And you know how she's always been bright and bubbly kind of person, but when her daughter died, she just kind of withered away. And it was really hard on her and everyone watching her break down. And so after she overcame that, like she overcome her her grief by donating, then she started like gossiping. It's kind of like it was healing for her, I guess. Became her hobby. And then she was back to being like bubbly and happy again. And the villagers preferred her being that way than seeing her break down. And I was like, and that was just so sweet. Like everyone just had this silent agreement that they're like, okay, let's leave her like this. Like, it's fine, because it's so much better to see her like this than to see her being really down. Like, that's so crazy. Like, the people in this village, they're really family. And it really reminded me of Usopp from One Piece, because he's kind of like the boy who cried wolf, and every day in his village he would yell out like, pirates are coming, you guys get ready, they're coming here, they're gonna pillage our village. He does it every day, and it's a lie, you know. And the villagers would like act really mad and like chase him with brooms and be like don't come back ever again. But we found out in the end that the villagers were actually just letting him do it, even though they know that he was lying. It was because he started doing it before his mother passed away, because his dad is a pirate, and he started doing it, saying like, pirates are coming, like dad is back. But then his mom passed away, and he kind of just did that every day. Maybe it's his way of coping from that grief of his mother passing away, and the whole village just let him do it. Like, every day he would yell out like, pirates are coming, and they would pretend like they're mad. Like it. Anyway, I really appreciate how Hwajong told Hyejin the story, because to me it's like her letting Hyejin into the fold, like, you are one of us, so I think you should also know and be a part of these people protecting Namsuk, kind of thing. Yeah, because I think Hyejin grew up lonely as well. Even though she has her dad, she was lonely growing up, and seeing the villagers accept her like she's family is really nice to see. In this episode, we also see the famous trope of being rained on and getting sick. It's always funny how they get rained on like one day and they're sick the next day. But Dushik got sick after walking around without an umbrella and being sad to see Hyejin and Songhyun sharing an umbrella together. But yeah, he got sick, and Hyejin goes to his house and gives him treatment and feeds him nasty tasting porridge. My question there, though, is that would Hyejin do the same thing if it was Songhyun that got sick? Like, I don't know. Would she cook for Songhyun? Like, would she do the things that she did for Dushik if it was Songhyun? It makes me sad to think no. But it's really hard. I think I'm actually Team Songhyun right now. Oh, I can't believe I betrayed Dushik. But, oh my gosh, this dude was just so amazing. I love him. And Dushik has been really petty these days. But, like, even in the end of the episode, when Hyejin thought she was being followed, and she panicked, dropped her phone, saw Dushik there, and just runs to him and hugs him because she was so scared, right? And Dushik hugged her back. I feel so bad that I'm getting mad about the leads getting together. I shouldn't feel this way. But it was so cool because Dushik, it kind of like Dushik opened up at that moment, like, receive love. We know how much he doesn't want to lean on other people. He feels responsible for other people's problems, but when it comes to himself, he doesn't want to share it. But that moment when he reciprocated that hug, I felt like he opened up a little bit. Oh, and I didn't even talk about Chohee, Yongguk, and Hwajong. But in these 2 episodes, we found out that Cho-hee first came to Gongjin, and she was boarding in Hwajong's guest house, and that's how they all met. Hwajong and Jungkook were already friends back then, and then Jungkook fell in love with Cho-hee. But Cho-hee, she's really, I still think she likes Hwajong. Like she went to Hwajong and like gave her a gift. And it was really sad because Hwajong actually drew a line. She was like, I really don't want you giving me gifts like this. You know, Jungkook obviously likes you and we're divorced. So this is really awkward. I think you asking me to act the same way I did, like the 3 of us hanging out together back then, she said that it was too much to ask of her. And that made Cho-hee really sad. She was like drinking by herself. Like she was drunk, and Hwajong had to save her from like that pervert guy. But yeah, it's still not Cho-hee doesn't really say anything. She never really mentioned straight that, oh, I like Hwajong, and stuff like that. But I'm still leaning towards that. Jungkook, oh my goodness, like this dude is just pathetic. I cannot. I don't even know why Hwajong likes him. But to each their own. There's also Mison and Eunchul, and they're just the cutest. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that we at least have this love line going on when we have this main triangle. That's really frustrating me, but we have Eunchul and Mison, and they're just the cutest. Like, she gives him this like lottery ticket, like, oh, here, it's just 5,000 won, like, it's fine. And then he comes back and gives her like the chicken that she wanted to eat and says, oh, I won 5,000 won from the ticket that you gave me. And then Mison was like, but this is 7,000 won. So cute. Oh my gosh. They really make me happy. And Eunchul really reminds me of Ijun, Hwajong's son. Like, he's like that. When Ijun grows up, he would be just like Eunchul. Like, it would be hilarious. But he's like this straight guy, and it's like always black and white for him. And anyway, episodes 7 and 8. It feels like we are getting a lot of movement in the story, but I feel like the pacing is really slow. It's probably just me because I've switched ships. Oh, I can't even believe I'm doing this. But I'm actually Team Songhyun right now. Although I know it's gonna be a sinking ship. But I don't know, I just suddenly felt like it's not really annoyed, but very close to annoyed of what Dushik has been doing. It's like, I don't know, I didn't like how petty he was being in these 2 episodes. But I know it's coming from somewhere. It's just doesn't sit well with me. I think I still like the show, but not as much as when it was starting. Maybe it's because it's getting heavier. When it used to be like a really healing, feel good, I can just watch this all day kind of drama. Now we're getting into like theory zone, and it's making me think so much more, which should be good. But I do miss just that healing and not being stressed about like who's she gonna end with, or feeling bad about Songhyun, because obviously he's not gonna be the choice. But yeah, that's what I feel about it right now. That's why it took me longer to get this review out. But yeah, I feel bad, but I'm actually enjoying You Raised Me Up with Yoon Shiun a lot more. right now, but I'm still gonna keep doing my reviews for Cha-Cha-Cha. Maybe it would spark the love I had, like the same way I had for it before. Who knows? But I'm still gonna be watching it, and I've been doing my You Raise Me Up reviews on my blog. I'm not gonna do like video reviews on it, but I'm really enjoying that too. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of these episodes. How are you feeling about the drama at this moment? Which team are you on? We shouldn't really make them fight, but anyway, you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next episode's review.